How are you?
You're extremely well. That's always a good question for us.
Right? Well, my wife brought me here. She was actually in the hot seat 19 years ago, so this is my first time.
She dragged you kicking and screaming?
No, quite the opposite. Very excited to be here.
We were just fishing for that compliment.
I like that. My question to you is about finding ease.
Finding ease?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that what you said?
It is what I said, yes. And in my body, I feel things in an outsized manner. And you were talking earlier about how you need to sharpen your focus, I believe was the comment. But even if folks are chewing, if there's loud noises, if there's smells, those are simple manifestations of things that feel dysregulated in my body, which then also can be played out with things like my children, where they can be loud and that will have an outsized impact to me. And I'm curious, how should I think about, and how should we all think about finding that ease and that calmness and that centerness?
We can help you do that, and we can help you do it easily. First, you want to know why you're like that?
I do.
We're not going to we're going to... You heard us earlier talking about the emotional comfort knob. It evolved from Esther's experience in a shower that she couldn't get the temperature right, which drew attention to the fact that all of you are really good calibrators. You are born to experience your moment, and as a physical being in a time-space reality, a physical body immersed in a physical environment, you have these physical senses that you know comfort and you know discomfort from those physical senses. So if you're highly sensitive to that, then you are a particularly good calibrator, because we really want to say this to you. We like saying this to you, because comfort matters and you know it. So you have this extrasensory, really don't want to put up with discomfort to help us say, because we want to shout it at everybody. If you won't take a cold shower, if your water heater's broken, it's either going to be really quick or you're not getting in. In other words, you are not going to put yourself through that discomfort. And we say, if you're so caring about your personal comfort that you won't get in a cold shower, why would you put up with negative emotion for a moment? Why would you endure that discomfort? And the answer is because you don't know you have any choice, because you don't know you've got a comfort knob for your emotions. You expect there to be one for everything else. So you came with an exaggerated sense of your awareness that you are a constant translator of vibration. What you see with your eyes is a vibrational interpretation. What you hear with your ears is a vibrational interpretation. What you smell with your nose is a vibrational interpretation. What you feel with your skin, what you taste with your tongue, these are vibrational translations that are happening all the time. Your emotions are the most important of all. That's what that's all about.
Okay, that goes to the second part of my question, which is exactly that, on emotions. And I also find that I heighten pick up on other folks' emotions.
Well, it's because you've trained yourself to be really sensitive. But here's the part where we can come in to help you, as we said earlier. If you're really sensitive to sound, put on some headphones. And if you're really sensitive to temperature, put on a jacket or take it off. And if you're really sensitive to taste, go to really good restaurants. Or figure out how to fix things that you like. In other words, don't put up with unhappiness. Don't put up with discomfort. Not for a minute. Don't put up with it. And there are a lot of people that say, oh, Abraham, we're worried about your message getting out because you're teaching selfishness. We say, we're not teaching it, we're acknowledging it. You only have the perspective of self. Only you can deal with the perspective of self. You can't be the self for someone else. You can't fix their vibration. You can't attract for them. If you're not selfish enough to care about how you feel, then you're not selfish enough to align, and then you got nothing for anybody. And so we like hypersensitivity because it makes you good at things. And we'd like you to be selfish enough to want to be comfortable, and not just if something's too loud or if something's too whatever. If it doesn't taste good, you fix it. You salt it, or you sweeten it, or you do something to modify it so that it satisfies you in this moment. If it's a cold, cold day, you want something hot to drink. If it's a hot, hot day, you want something cold to drink. You are really good human calibrators. You just don't take it to the extent that you intended, because the others who share your planet often really have a shortage consciousness going on, where they think that there's just one finite pie that you're sharing, and if you get too comfortable, you'll take comfort from others, which is ridiculous. We can see how if there's only one pie and there's 100 of you, you might feel a little pie conscious shortageness, but there is always potential for more pies. We get that, but we can't ever go along with anyone who thinks that there's resource shortage, or that there's clarity shortage, or that there's comfort shortage, because there just isn't. It's all a personal psychological trick that humans are playing on themselves, because for some reason they think, and sometimes it does, serve them to suffer and complain. And that's because, not to get personal with anybody, sometimes you had a mother who didn't like your search for comfort, who took it upon herself or himself or their self. They thought that they were the vortex through which all your goodies came, and they got overwhelmed, and so they wanted to limit your requests. And then they wanted to call you selfish or greedy if you ask for more than they could accommodate, when it was never their job to accommodate it to begin with. And like this family that Esther watched, it's the best experience of her life. Not really, but it was really, really good. She got to see this mother knocking herself out to make it work for that ornery daughter of hers. And she could tell they'd been at it for a long time. And Esther knew that that was never going to work for either one of them. It was futility. Because until somebody gets it, that only they can adjust their comfort through the choice of what they focus on, then they're pretty much badgering the whole world to behave differently. Like that song, don't they know it's the end of the world? Why is the sun still shining, and why are people still smiling? Why are they happy when I'm so miserable? Shouldn't they all be miserable like I am? We say, nope. You each get to be as happy or as miserable as you decide to be. Something more, or did we satisfy that?
No, I'm satisfied.
It's really good. We're glad to see you too.
Oh, hi. I'm okay.
You good?
I really, really care.
Yeah, we know.
And I told myself that
if I got in this chair, that I would then know, when you care that much, the universe cannot not notice you. And when you are wanting something a lot, the universe has to give you what you want through the crack of least resistance. Yeah? So now you're here, do you want to talk, or do you just want to get here?
I want to ask if there is a center of the vortex, as in there's a swirl.
Yeah, there is. It was in your vortex even before you came into this physical body. It's a feeling place of certainty and clarity and love. That's what's at the very center. It's unequivocal. There's no deviation from it. It's so strong. It is the heart of your attraction. It's who you were before you came into this experience, and it's who, with every part of you, you intend to be on a really steady basis. Yeah. And really, when you get in the vortex, when you contemplate it, it's not over there. We don't know why we look here. It just seems... But there has to be some way of demonstrating something that you can't see, and it really is something that exists. But there's very little deviation from what's in the center of it and what's in it as big as it gets. It's so finely tuned. You, from your human perspective, could not discern any variance from anything that's in the vortex from anything else that's in the vortex. And there aren't words to adequately define it. We called it clarity and we called it love. It's source energy. It's the mass becomingness of pure positive energy is what it is. A lot of people want to call that God. And that doesn't mean that there aren't entities that you could also refer to as God. It just means that that is at the center of everything that you consider to be life and good and more and eternity. And on this emotional scale, you might all have one. If things went well, you did get one. On this emotional scale, if we call this number 1, you're really good. We mean that. You are really good. You created it. You were ready for it. You pushed the buttons. You did it. If you're up here where joy and knowledge and empowerment are, and freedom and love and appreciation, let's call that the center of the vortex. Anything from contentment up is really close enough that there's no point in nitpicking over it. Really, really good. In fact, did you see that tipping point thing? We're just asking for it so he can show off again. Show us the tipping point. Whoa, Jared, that's good. See where the tipping point is? If you get anywhere near, you're golden. So if you get anywhere near the vortex, it's going to suck you in to all that good stuff. Or it's just going to speak so loudly that you won't be able to not hear it or sense it or feel it.
This might be like a false premise or something, but when I imagine the center of the vortex, it's very still. And I think that I'm wrong.
It isn't. It's active. Everything non-physical is inactive in that there's no action, but it's pulsing. Everything's ones and zeros, you know. And so it's pulsing. There's just no resistance in it. So that's why it feels calm to you. Let's say that you presented quite an obvious display of excitement as you came up and as you sat down that we wouldn't describe as calmness. But there was no resistance in it either. So it doesn't have to be calm and slow to be resistant-free. The way we like to say it is, be as specific as you can be and still feel good. Or be as ecstatic as you can be and still feel good. And so sometimes you want to slow things down for your comfort. Sometimes you want to speed things up for your comfort. What do you think is at the basis of this "we love you so much" nitpicking that you're doing?
Oh,
what spawns this curiosity?
Well,
now you don't have to hide from us.
Well, I did want to get in the chair, and I love you so much. So
you just wanted to get here and have something important to talk about?
Yeah.
But what matters to you about this stuff? We want to know. We want to know because you're leading to something important. Why do you care about that?
Because I am the center of the universe, and I know it. And so the man who made that coding thing, where all the subjects, when you focus on the good one, all the subjects come towards you.
On Abraham Now, one of the Abraham students, brilliant, really genius, not just good at the IT stuff, but good at understanding exactly the vibrational accuracy of what we teach and presenting it. Yeah, we know who you mean.
So it feels like it's all wide, but when I focus in and I feel that I'm empowered because I feel more in the center of it all because I focused on the comfort factor.
Well, you just said in different words, but even better than we've been saying it all day, exactly what we're saying. Find something, find an easy existing match, and focus there, and everything else is taken care of by that. That's right. And you are the center of your universe, of the only universe that you have any creative control over, which is huge and matters a lot. You are the center of it. And how you feel is the center of your personal control. Does it help you to acknowledge, I am pure positive energy, even when I'm not acting like it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is helpful to know I am pure positive energy even though I've strayed. That's where the question, would I rather be right or happy? Or would I rather have an opinion or an intention? You can massage yourself into alignment with far less effort than you have ever thought. Don't you kind of know that as a result of the conversation today? Don't you feel more hands-on in controlling the way you feel? And if you feel more hands-on in controlling the way you feel, then you're more hands-on in controlling the unfolding of your life experience. Yeah. Enough?
That's enough. Thank you.
Yeah.